death, glasses, and my friend. Childhood ended for me in 1996. I was only 12, with 6 carefree years ahead until adulthood. But the events of that summer forever robbed me of the right to remain a child. It happened to me and 3 of my friends, Johnny Smith, Tom Jackson, and Tyler Brown. Tyler was never meant to grow up. Since then, he will remain in my memory as the same quiet, shy, smiling boy who could spend hours reading books or carving figures of people, animals, and mythical creatures out of logs. Life seemed carefree until tragedy struck suddenly. Johnny, as usual, yelled my name at the top of his lungs from the fence, summoning us. We lazily dressed and headed to the big lake on the outskirts of town. Suddenly, a terrible storm broke out. Blinding lightning flashed one after another. Thunder roared, shaking the earth. We barely made it to the old abandoned shack in the woods and huddled inside. The cramped space was stuffy and dark until Tyler lit a candle. Death struck us unexpectedly. There was a deafening roar, and tons of wet sand crashed down on our heads. We were completely buried, unable to move or take a breath. Johnny frantically dug me out, then Tyler. But Tyler was already dead. The sand had filled his mouth and nose. Tom survived, but he wailed for a long time, calling for his mom. It was hell on earth. We were powerless, sitting over our friend's body with vacant, detached stares. That's how our childhood ended. Then came weeks of heavy conversations with parents, police. The most painful was the conversation with Tyler's parents. Even now, as a father of 2 sons, I can't imagine how one could go on after such a loss. Tyler was buried in the local cemetery, and his parents returned to their hometown. They divorced a year later. I cruelly blame myself for not doing everything possible to save him. Thoughts of it haunted me day and night. After the tragedy, I cut off all contact with Johnny and Tom. I spent a whole month at home, hardly speaking to anyone. Then I had a dream where I saw Tyler, alive and smiling in our shack. When I woke up, I went into the woods and found a new shack in the same spot. Inside sat Johnny, muttering to himself, carving wooden figures in Tyler's style. When I entered for a moment, I saw Tyler's features in Johnny, his radiant smile, the sparkle in his eyes, the tone of his voice. Johnny handed me Tyler's glasses and said they were now mine. After that, we never spoke again. 30 years passed. Tom moved to another state. Johnny carved wood for a long time, but eventually drank himself to death on the streets. And I became a successful writer, but I never forget who I owe this talent to. To create something truly worthwhile, I must look at the world through the lenses of glasses once belonging to Tyler. Years passed, but the memories of that fateful day never left me. Every night in my dreams I returned to that accursed shack, hearing Tyler's lifeless gasps as the sand filled his lungs. I would wake up in cold sweat, feeling the same suffocating horror. Tyler's glasses became a talisman for me, reminding me of the fragility of life. I wore them everywhere, even as my writing career finally took off. Through their lenses, the world seemed more ominous, bitter, yet at the same time more captivating. One day, while working on a new horror novel, I got lost in my thoughts and went for a nighttime stroll in the forest, where it all began. The moon illuminated the familiar clearing, and in its glow, I discerned the silhouette of a person near our old shack. My heart pounded furiously. Could it really be Tyler? The figure turned around, and in the moonlight, the glasses gleamed. Those same glasses. I dashed towards them, but the person quickly vanished into the thickets of the forest. Dazed with horror and hope, I became lost, wandering through the woods for hours. At dawn, completely exhausted, I emerged onto the highway and managed to catch a ride. When I returned home, I found that Tyler's glasses were gone. Feeling a chill run down my spine, I frantically searched for them, turning the entire house upside down. In vain. There was only one thing left to do. Either I was crazy or Tyler would be with me for the rest of my life.